Ensuring that the external walls are in good repair is obviously essential for keeping the weather out and the interior warm. It's also important for the building's structural integrity and, more subtly, the broader health of the fabric and the environmental conditions within. Every church building is going to be different in how it deals with the weather and sheds water from the wall surfaces. This will depend on its location, ground conditions, use of materials and finishes, and regional vernacular detailing. A regular inspection of the walls of your building is therefore an important part of any good maintenance plan. It will help to identify any problems early on and enable you to plan and prioritise any necessary works. It will also help inform your quinquennial inspection and any discussions that you may need to have with your architect or surveyor. Examination of the walls can not only help to identify problems such as failed pointing or erosion of the stone or the brick, but can also help and detect monitoring of more significant issues such as structural movement. External walls can be readily inspected from the ground, as well as safely accessible locations such as the tower roof or valley or parapet gutters. Working around the building, make an assessment of the general condition of each wall, looking out for any signs of deterioration, problems with the pointing, signs of bulging, cracking, leaning, damp staining or salts or vegetation that may be visible. It's also important to understand that traditionally constructed solid walls perform differently from modern walls. Modern walls rely on barriers preventing moisture from penetrating the fabric as a preference to traditionally constructed walls that are permeable and allow the water to be absorbed, but then allow it to evaporate out again from the surface. The idea of a breathable wall. The majority of this evaporation occurs through the porous lime mortar joint. However, if this is repointed in an impervious cement mortar, the moisture then evaporates out through the masonry, which can lead to increased problems with erosion of the softer stone or brick. After a general observation of the walls, begin a closer inspection. Start with the higher levels. Use binoculars from the ground or from the tower roof. Take a close look at the detailing such as parapets and copings and identify and make a note of any areas of potential concern that may need further investigation. As you have done for the initial inspection of the walls, look out for and make a note of any problems for each section of the wall. Again, taking photographs or marking up a plan of the building can be useful tools. Things to look out for might include cracking, bulging or leaning or other signs of movement, damp staining or salts on the walls, which can indicate a problem with moisture within the structure, cracked or missing pointing to the joints, erosion of the walling material itself, loss of erosion or architectural detailing or features, vegetation growth, or anything else that catches your eye. Also try and work out what might be causing the problems, as it might be related to defective blocked or rainwater goods or a problem with the roof or the wall tops. Good ventilation is essential to the health of historic buildings. Along with the ability to control ventilation through opening windows and doors, many churches incorporate details such as ventilation grills, air bricks or louvers in the original construction to ensure a good flow of air through the voids, under floors or behind other areas of the fabric. It's therefore important to ensure that your building is adequately ventilated. Check any fixed or built-in ventilation such as grills or air bricks at low level. Make sure that they are not blocked and that they are free from any other problems. For controllable ventilation such as windows and doors, check they remain openable and that they are maintained in full working order. Old buildings often provide an attractive place for birds to roost. However, as bird fowl can cause extensive damage, it's important to check that birds have not made your building their place to nest. Keep an eye out for evidence of where birds may have been frequently perching. Look out for things like nesting material or bird fowl. Check too that the birds have not been able to gain access inside the building. Favourite spots are those less accessible, such as the upper levels of the tower. If it is found that birds are regularly perching on a particular spot or have been able to gain access inside the building, make sure you have appropriate personal protective equipment such as gloves or face masks before clearing up any fouling or attempting any repairs. Appropriate measures can also be taken to prevent the reoccurrence of the problem. There are various options available, including anti-perching or anti-entry measures, or a combination of both. And it's best to seek special advice on what is the most appropriate form for your building. As part of your inspection of the walls, be sure to include an assessment of the windows. Just as there are many different examples of walling materials, there are also many different types of window, and sometimes a variety of different window types along one wall. When examining leaded lights and stained glass, in addition to the condition of the glass, also have a look at the supporting structure. What is the condition of the lead cames like, holding the glass in place, the ferramenta or the metal supports or rods or ties? Are any deformed or broken or rusting? Are any parts of the window, including the glass and supporting structure, loose or broken? Whilst this is likely to be more evident inside, also check for evidence of condensation on the windows. And if there is a drainage provision at the base, make sure this is clear. If any of the windows have external protections such as metal grills or sheeting, check that the protection and the fixings are in good condition and rust free. Also check the condition of any external timber work. Make sure any paint or surface finishes are in good order, as these will help protect and prolong the life of the timber work. Check for signs of peeling or flaking to the surface finish and note the areas that are in need of renewal. Also check for beetle infestation or rot, particularly in areas that may trap or hold water. Check all the doors and windows and make sure they are in working order and secure, including handles, locks, openers and hinges. Trees invariably make a positive contribution to the setting of many places of worship, and to the flora and fauna and the wildlife of the area. It is, though, important to ensure that any that are within close proximity to the building do not have any adverse effect on the fabric. Substantial leaf fall can cause blockages to rainwater goods and drainage and can affect lead. Roots can also sometimes cause problems if the trees are too close to the building. Check to see that there are no dead branches or branches touching any part of the building. Most church buildings and places of worship have within their setting boundary walls, monuments, memorials and paths. Check these structures for signs of problems in the same way that you have with the building. Establish their condition and note down any issues or damage and if they pose a hazard or are unsafe. Thank you for watching this video, brought to you by the SPAB in collaboration with the National Churches Trust and Historic England. We hope you have found it useful. Be sure to look out for other videos in the series for more tips and information on how to maintain your place of worship.